There is a statement I like using in the Bold podcast that the termites are coming out of the woodwork to feast. That statement best describes what the Statehouse controller has just revealed this Friday. Welcome to the Bold analysis. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast, and may really God meet you at the time of need. Allow me to start this podcast by sharing some condolence message about the demise of a gentleman that I hold with high esteem in this podcast, Dr. Oduor, who passed on today in Kisumu. He's been a very strong supporter of the Bold and even the charity programs that have been running. I think all the programs we run, I've always been seeing him supporting. And he's the first person that gave me the very first advert I did in YouTube, in the Bold podcast last year. And that was marketing some Dubai shop. Yes, he's the person that gave me that linkage to market the Dubai shop. And yes, he passed on today while he was supposed to travel to US for job. Ladies and gentlemen, let's look at Felix Kosgei's tweet. He's saying, it has regrettably come to my attention that unscrupulous criminal elements are moving from one office to the other, in the next intimidating state officials and extorting money in my name. I call upon cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries, and CEOs of state corporations to be wary of these crooks and promptly report them to the appropriate authorities for swift action. The era of criminals taking advantage of gullible Kenyans seeking jobs and government services by misusing names of senior state officials is long gone, and firm action will be taken against these elements. I repeat, and I want to follow this by a question. Why would a senior state official like control of budget, control of Statehouse controller, rant about this in social media while the state machinery, the DCI and NIS and other structure are at his disposal? What exactly is the public going to do when someone sitting at the decision-making table is ranting about this in social media? And I agree. I looked at the replies in this tweet by some good Kenyans asking him if he's genuine about this, then they should just send a circular and it should be handled internally instead of making it public. What is to be achieved by relaying this information in public? How is this going to help address the problem? That's why I say it's coming at a time when President Ruto put his cabinet and principal secretaries and state corporations on toes, asking them to account for what is happening in each and every ministry or whatever they are doing in their respective areas of jurisdiction. They've been asking William Ruto asked that question simply because there is a slow start to the government. And now that Kosgei is relaying this information, it is very clear that the government has been captured by the cartels. Another word for people who have sense of entitlement. But then let me tell you, if someone is going to a state corporation or a cabinet secretary or a principal secretary to give you conditions that give me this because I know so and so, that person first is selling entitlement. And entitlement, I will repeat again, entitlement was given, or actually was sold to them by the executive office. Ruto and Govt made those who support them and people around their circle that it is them that made this government, it is for them, it is them to decide. And two, he has reduced his circle. I say that William Ruto needed to work on his circle. It is very easy for an MP to run to cabinet secretary in a cabinet office on Monday and telling him about this and that about William Ruto after him spending a weekend with Ruto in some funny rallies somewhere. You know, that is the problem. The more you make yourself accessible and people are getting photos with you everywhere and everything you are there, these people are getting leeway to even go and intimidate the principal secretaries and cabinet secretaries. However, let me say it as it is. The Felix Kosgei is just the messenger. The sender is William Ruto. If there is someone who is going to a cabinet secretary, that person is simply going to him, telling him about, I know Ruto. It's not, I know the Statehouse controller. So Ruto is asking those who have been going, selling entitlement to cabinet secretaries to get the government tenders and to get jobs and to lobby for appointments. He's telling them that stop using my name. But you know, it is another kind way, because this information do not target hustler, do not target a commoner like me and you. This tweet is targeting those in the positions of power, those with the influence. And clearly, it's showing that the boat is being rocked from within. And Ruto has then been battling the spirit of stagnation. This is what has caused the spirit of stagnation. The cohort that we are calling criminal elements, they are not. These are the three groups that are being addressed in that tweet. Number one is politicians left out of the cold. You know, when the court stopped creation of the office of the CAS, is it Cabinet Administrative Secretaries? That was a position that was, those are positions that were created so that political cronies could be awarded. So that those who are left in the cold would find somewhere to get. Now, after court stopped it, I've heard the president speaking in the course, I think last week, saying that those who feel left out should just stay put because government is huge, they'll get somewhere. And so it means that even the executive welcomed the court decision on the creation of the CIS. And in fact, I can really speculate that probably even it was a blessing in disguise that even the executive wanted to use the court to stop creation of those offices. Now, those who are going are people that have been left out. You know, I would really think that Millicent Omanga is not in cabinet or is not somewhere in the executive office, does not have a government office. Who would really think that Dennis Itumbi, that Isaac Mwaura, who would go to the extent of calling Uhuru Kenyatta all sorts of funny names in the name of pleasing William Ruto, has not been given any position. So, I look at it as a very synthetic approach. The real thing here is government knows these fellows because they're saying cabinet secretaries. So cabinet secretaries knows very well those people that have been approaching them. That's the first group. The second group are campaign financiers and lifters. They're different. There are those who did the lifting and there are those who financed. Yes. So they're just coming for those pledges. There could be some unmet pledges. Maybe you were told that wewe enda uongee na waziri, enda uongee na huyu, enda uongee na huyu. Now these people are looking for ways of recouping their resources. You know, they might have funded one or two. They might have done, you know, some lifting, probably even at IBC, you know. There are those who could have been issuing William Ruto classified intelligence while working with Uhuru Kenyatta. You know, there are those who sabotaged Uhuru Kenyatta to place William Ruto silently or rather secretly. So this is the other group. And they are so much entitled. I think someone should not lie to you that you can report them and get away with it. These people are so much entitled, and it's true they have access to the president. It's true. We are not in a country, someone cannot just go and say, Ruto has said, without Ruto knowing, without even him having a relationship with Ruto. So that is what William Ruto is issuing a warning to them. The third group is interconnected cronies of politicians. The politicians that are already in power. Yes, for example, people who already are cabinet secretaries, they will want something interesting on the other end. They will actually cross over. And if this is not arrested, Ruto is going to have a big headache here because it has these two effects. And that's why I'm saying the situation needs to be forestalled. Otherwise, government is going to have that stagnation will continue because the cartels will be going to stagnate government through court cases, especially on the side of procurement. If you sample cases, litigation cases that is touching on procurement in this government, you'll realize there is a lot of stuff that is on the procurement wing. So if someone asks for a tender, and someone said and tried to lobby for a tender, he fails to get it and realizes that someone else has it, then the only option available for him or her is to rush to court to seek some injunctions against the whole process. And the more people are going to court, the litigations, court issue breaks into the processes. Then when there are breaks, if there is a product or a service that was supposed to be supplied, it has stalled. So the court, and they will find a way, by the way, they can go to court and even make sure, even create fabrications, and civil servants lose positions. Yes. If they don't go to court, they will go to the National Assembly and really infiltrate. So the cartel, in this context, according to me, are just people pursuing interests but with entitlement. The only thing they carry is entitlement. It is entitlement about my network, and my network also is converging with my interest. For example, Ruto has an interest of making them happy if they supported him. And so there is no way you can say no. Secondly, this should be arrested because it will infiltrate the civil service and cause insecurity of tenure. Truth be told, if someone asks you that William Ruto sent money patia tender or so and so, or regale, would you even think twice? Or give me a job, create that job for me? You know, we've created that scenario, and it's the making of a lot of other blunders we made from the word go. For the first few months, I remember Rigathi Gachagua used to go to central Kenya, and while telling the people there that government belongs to them, he would order cabinet secretaries, chukua huyu andika kazi, chukua yule andika kazi, chukua huyu kazi. And someone even making a fund that Rigathi is working with unemployed villagers and ordering cabinet members to employ them. So what does that mean? We even created that perception that, look here, it's ours and we can do whatever we do with it. There are also people that are in those offices. They came in as technocrats, but they were not in the campaign trail. But let me tell you, those who were in the campaign trail and are now in cabinet or principal secretaries or are even holding very plump positions like state corporations, those ones are a bit safe. But the technocrats that were injected are the ones that are feeling the heat, because for them, they're intimidated by the politics. You know, someone like Aisha Jumwa is a politician. Ukimpeleka mbio sana, he will take and organize an event in the coast, Kilifi, and rant and say everything on camera. Then play politics with the whole of it. Then the whole thing. But then the technocrats are the ones that are feeling intimidated by this sort of the cartels that I'm talking about. However, I honestly do think that while it serves as a public warning, the warning can be actualized by action. Cabinet secretaries and these people that are reported about being harassed or being asked to be given this and this are equally very important. They can issue the names. Just like someone was making a fun that probably it's people from William Ruto's place, asking, promising, give me that, but I know so and so will give you a job. These things, these elements can be arrested and taken to court so that it serves as an example. That's my bold. Thank you.